welcome beautiful souls to another episode of the Spiritual Catalyst podcast, where we talk about all things weird and woo. I am your host, Sarah Lyons, the founder of the newearthschool.com.au, and today we have the beautiful Louisa Havers with us to talk about unlocking financial abundance and melting your money blocks. Louisa is an internationally renowned success advisor and creator of the Helix method. She's also a master Akashic Records channel, and she enables multi-6 and 7-figure entrepreneurs to lift the ceiling in both their lives and businesses. It's a journey Louisa knows works as she's personally undertaken it herself. Years spent leading change in the highly pressurised and successful social services sector led to shingles and chronic fatigue, compelling her to break free from the corporate matrix of overwork. It was the first step to creating her own life of freedom and making a bigger impact with her dream online business. Louisa enables clients across the globe to activate quantum leaps to success in their own journey of self-actualization and fulfillment. Louisa, welcome.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so looking forward to our conversations today.
Me too. It's so good to have you here. And just quickly, before we dive into this beautiful topic, this is one of my favorite topics ever is, financial abundance, melting your money blocks. I'd love to know, and for the listeners also, what is the Helix method?
Oh, yes. So the Helix method is a modality that I created. It's an energy psychology modality where we balance the deep inner healing work alongside impactful manifesting rituals so that people can ultimately have sustainable and rapid results. Because it is all about raising our vibration and our frequency, but our vibration and our frequency fluctuates. And so we want to be able to help people to be able to really embody a new identity so that they can have those results across wealth, health, and love. Those are the kind of big three that we lead with, but which has that ripple effect across all aspects of life. And I lead with money because money is such a huge topic for so many people. It's the biggest stressor for so many people, whether they're, earlier on in their businesses or indeed, growing and having, very successful financial businesses, with big revenue. Our nervous systems can get triggered along the way. And I find it has a ripple effect across all aspects of life because we project so much of ourselves onto money. So it's a great one for people to heal and to continue to heal. And to work with, whether they're new in their money consciousness journey or have been doing it for years. I find that people who've been doing it for years know that it's an ongoing conversation that they need to have with themselves. It's we're lifers in this personal development realm.
Yes, and I'm so glad you brought that up. That it's such an important topic, I believe. For me personally, when I first had my 6-figure year, I thought 10K months was going to be the big dream and everything would be cool and sorted. And I got there and I was like, actually, it's not that much. And how am I going to get to the next level? And I was still worried about money. So it didn't take away that money stuff that I had. So I'd love to hear, your perspective about this unlocking financial abundance, melting your money blocks, and, whatever comes through for you around this.
Yes, absolutely. And that's so common, I think, for the money worries. They don't go away. They just change in how they may be. So the not enough money worry can be like 4-6 figures. People are worrying because maybe there's not quite enough to have everything that they want to be able to grow their business with. We all know businesses require investment to be able to make those leaps and to be able to practice hiring a team member, whatever it may be. And then we're worrying that there's not enough because that it might all suddenly vanish. I find that's a very common one for people. It's like the money's there and now we're worried that it's all going to suddenly disappear.
Yeah.
Because our nervous systems are really triggered. Because how I talk about this is the 6 areas that I see that I really invite people to focus on. I call these energetic blocks, because they are true across all aspect, whether it's money, love, health and things, is one, we need to have I call this the resonance rift. So this is where it's making sure our different levels of consciousness are all aligned. So we have our higher self-consciousness that knows we've got this and has much bigger dreams and visions for us than perhaps our subconscious and our conscious mind is thinking is the path. And so we can have this sort of internal tuggle going on between those different levels of consciousness. So we need to get those aligned so that we're all parts of our being are working in the same direction. And what can start to happen is that because I'd say most people are manifesting from their subconscious until they start to take control and to be able to let their higher self lead. Because of course we've got all of this going on in our energy field. And so our body's going to have these somatic default set points. So when we have those leaps for, growing to 6 figures, perhaps we haven't done it before, growing to 7 figures and haven't done it before, our body, unless we've changed the somatic default set points, is going to start to pull us back to what feels comfortable in that old version of ourselves and the old emotions and the experiences. It wants to experience more of the same. So we need to work with the body to be able to really break through and to hold those transformations. And that, of course, is all linked in with our identity and who we really see ourselves to be, and what is what we're holding in our conscious and our subconscious mind. And just to circle back to the body piece, what I find happens as we step outside of our current identity is the nervous system gets triggered and is like, hang on a second, where are we going? This is out of my comfort zone. I've got to immediately alert you to that there's going to be a problem. For example, the money's going to suddenly disappear. I'm going to start telling you that the money's suddenly going to disappear because your nervous system is triggered. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm. It's like the nervous system has a life of its own, obviously, but it really is so powerful. And I'd love to hear, maybe some tips for the listeners who are getting to their first, it could be 4 figures a month, 5, 6 and beyond, whatever that next level is that the nervous system may be freaking out about. What would you have to say? What sort of,
Yes.
got any hacks or
Yeah, a great little hack that people can do, and then recognize that little voice popping up inside their mind, which has been triggered by their nervous system, is to say, I'm safe, I'm calm, I choose to do this. Immediately that soothes the nervous system, because you're speaking to the body. So tell your body, like, body, I'm safe, I'm calm, I'm choosing to do this. And you can immediately feel the edge come off it. Yeah. If that makes sense. And then one of the things that we do within the Helix method is when I'm working with my clients, is get them to do every day, to have a daily practice around just 10 to 15 minutes is going to make a massive difference. What we call helixing in the Helix method, where you're really focusing on aligning those different levels of consciousness and effectively starting to change that somatic default set point in your body, so the nervous system isn't getting triggered, by doing what we have a unique way of bringing in breath work and affirmations to start to really help the body to feel that new level of identity. And that's going to make your life so much easier as you're going through those transitions, because your body's going to start to get used to this new frequency. You'll start to create a new default set point. So the nervous system isn't going to get triggered quite so much. So that's a great daily hack to be able to start to really step into that new level. And it all comes down to what I call, so often when I'm working with clients and something's going wonky, I'll say this to them because it really resonates, is that, it's like you're energetically buffering. We all know when the Wi-Fi is not working, we see that whirring wheel and it's kind of like got stuck. That's what's happening for us ourselves. We have our own human Wi-Fi. We can energetically buffer when our nervous system's got triggered, perhaps when we've had an experience that's been traumatic, financially or from a goal previously, that as we start to move up to that new level, it suddenly gets activated in our body again, and we the nervous system is trying to keep us safe. And so we start to buffer, if that makes sense. And then you can start to see people contract back. So that hack of saying, I'm safe, I'm calm, I'm choosing to do this, is going to be a really helpful one to help you just to kind of navigate your day, so that you can create that space to do the deep healing work, because you do need to do that to be able to then really hold that next level, create that new identity, so you've got those new default set points.
Absolutely. And how long? I'm just sitting with that buffer point. For some people, they could buffer for ages, right? Like we're talking months and years. So would you say it's basically what you've just said, that is, it's about coming back to telling the nervous system, telling the body that we're safe.
Yes, absolutely. And finding out, so there's what I like when I'm working with clients, I teach them about three energetic flow states where you're in flow, you're receiving. That's the one we all want to be in as much as possible, because that's when everything's feeling really good. And you start to see new clients coming in, and it just all starts to feel really magical. And the synchronicities are like off the chart. You're like, universe, you're magic. This is amazing. What's going on? Because we're in that flow state. And then we have that resistance state where we start to see things buffering. And this is where we're hitting up against our current identity is wanting to pull us back. Our somatic default set points are wanting to pull us back. The subconscious mind is having a little inner conflict with what the higher self is trying to lead. So we've got lots of things going on, which is creating that energetic buffering. And then this is a big one, is energy reversals. And so many people don't understand this. It's not talked about very much, is that we hold our energy is in reverse. So think of this as it's literally going the wrong way. Whenever we've had a trauma or a shock, or perhaps something where we didn't have the coping mechanisms for an experience. And of course, as we're growing our businesses, there are going to be many experiences where we're experiencing new things. We haven't necessarily perhaps got the skill set to deal with something. We're going to have it after that experience, of course, but along with it will come an energy reversal where we've dealt, maybe suppressed some emotions. The body has linked it with traumas from before. And this is huge. When people transform those energy reversals, all that energy that was being taken up with those energy reversals is freed up. So we've got more of our own energy field now to then be transmuting it and transforming it into the flow state. And so your vibration can start to rise even more quickly, and then you're able to manifest more quickly because you've got more of your energy freed up and in that flow state, if that makes sense. So you move from energetic buffering to having more coherence in your energy field, being able to send a louder message out to the universe that's more congruent. So you haven't got these sort of conflicting frequencies in your energy field. That's a massive game changer when people can find that out. And that's some of the work that I do with my clients, of course, is helping them to clear these energy reversals so that they can be in that state. And I find it's amazing how quickly it can start to change in your field. When I'm working with my clients, I say, like, our goal is within 60 days or less to completely transform this and for you to be seeing the impact in your life. And it is so much quicker than that for so many, which is just such a joy. As they're like, well, hang on a second, how have I got out of this rut? And starting to see the transformations is when they've just changed their energy. They've changed their energetic state. They're able to hold the frequency longer. So it's super powerful. And of course, then that excitement, you start to have that, it activates more faith and certainty that you really can do this in your field.
It does. It does. And would you say that key to obviously there's a lot beneath that, but the key to that energy reversal and the key to unlocking financial abundance and melting the money blocks, it's that nervous system work?
I'd say it's all those six. So I call it six areas. So I call it the resonance rift. So that's the alignment with your different levels of consciousness. That's key. The somatic default set points. These all interlink the current identity, your nervous system, the energetic field, because of course your physical layer of your body is just that first physical layer of the aura. And then this is a key one as well, which I call it is a six energetic block, because it can be a money block, is when I call it strategic dissonance, when people are applying the wrong strategy for their business. They're out of alignment with their strategy. It might be they're trying to apply a strategy that really should be applied for really well-established businesses. Perhaps they're just getting started. It's a different strategy at each level of business. And so I like to bring that in, because I've seen so many people who are out of alignment and they're saying it's something to do with, it's something internal. I'm actually, yes, and let's have a look at the strategy you're applying, because it might be a marketing message that actually is just taking you down a rabbit hole. And when you get that aligned, then your nervous system's going to be soothed, and then you can start to expand and grow. So I think it's really important to recognize that 90% of what we're doing is, it's all about the energetics and 10% the strategy, but that is an important piece that can become the block.
Yeah, I totally agree with that.
That makes sense.
Totally agree. I talk about it, it's the 80-20 rule, but I firmly believe really it's 90% of it, it's energetics, 10% strategy, and then things flow and they just begin to work. Yeah.
Exactly. So they're big energetic blocks for unlocking financial abundance. But I really wanted to speak to that because I think it's, within that is we all know that, love is such an important component. Self-love is a component around, if we're not loving ourselves, that's a money block. But underneath that self-love is these energetic blocks. And so I offer that as a lens for people to look through their life, look through how their businesses are growing, their revenues growing, their investments are growing, their relationship with money, through these 6 energetic blocks to see, okay, so where can I start? What's bubbling up to be able for me to focus on to start to really unlock more financial abundance? And, as you know, I have a step-by-step guide to show people how to find these areas of resistance and what they can focus on as a priority to start to make these changes.
Absolutely. And there's so much to this, which is why it is just so important to have that mentor, that healer, that guide that can lead you through that process.
Yes, absolutely. And as we were chatting earlier, it's not like one and done. It's a consistent thing. I continue to do my own work on my consciousness. We're picking up energy all the time. And if we're not it's like we have a shower every day or a bath every day. We need to do our energy work every day to be able to hold that frequency and to make sure that we're not allowing beliefs or energies that are not ours to sneak in and start to create things that aren't helpful to our consciousness.
Totally. That's a big one, especially as a leader or, a coach or a healer who's working with a lot of people. We can take on their beliefs.
Exactly. And we need to be that calibration portal for our clients to raise up to the vision that we can hold for them and not to start to calibrate to them. And that's so important. Important.
It really is. Louisa, this is fascinating, and I'm sure that we could literally talk all day about this. But for those of the beautiful listeners listening in who would love to find out more from you about the Helix method or about, all of those money blocks, where can they find you?
So I've got a website, louisahavers.com. I'm on all the social medias and channels. You can find me at Louisa Havers. We've got a YouTube channel, which is just about to be renamed to Infinite Prosperity. We've got a podcast called the Infinite Prosperity Podcast. So they can check us out there. And I've got a free guide that I'd love to give everyone that they can either grab from my website, or we can give you the links and all the things where I give you the step-by-step process for the Helix method, so that you can find the hidden blocks in your consciousness and balance that deep inner healing work alongside a impactful manifesting ritual. And I give you examples in that guide as well, so you can really start to see how it's relevant for you and to bring it alive, so that you can move more easily, get into flow more quickly for your current financial desires. So I'd love to give that to everybody.
Thank you. That's so powerful. And I'll make sure that we pop those links in the episode description. Thank you again so much for being with us today. And thank you to our beautiful listeners. If you enjoyed today's episode, please consider leaving us a review, and we will see you next time. Bye.